The member from Etobicoke-Lakeshore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a Polish Canadian, I'm honoured to rise in the legislature today to commemorate the 77th anniversary of the Katyn Massacre and the 7th anniversary of the Smolensk air disaster. For the people of Poland, Katyn is an example of the criminal acts of the Soviet system against the Polish nation. In April and May of 1940, more than 20,000 Polish nationals were murdered. This decimated the ranks of the Polish military, ruling class, and intelligentsia. Mr. Speaker, this tragic event has personal meaning to me. Every year, I remember my two great-uncles who were murdered in Katyn, and also my colleague, the member from Kingston and the Islands. She also had a great-uncle who was slaughtered there. Their losses remind me of the horrors of war and the high price of freedom and defence against subjugation. Remembering acts like this should strengthen Canadians' resolve against all forms of hatred and reinforce our commitment to respect and peace. And I'd like to take this opportunity to also remember the 96 people, including Polish President Lech Kaczynski, his wife, and high-ranking officials who were lost in the Smolensk air disaster in 2010. This disaster happened as the President and government officials were en route to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Katyn Massacre. Their plane crashed near the airport runway in Smolensk. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, this past Sunday, Premier Wynne, MPP Baker, and I marched with Poland's Consul General Grzegorz Morawski and dozens of members of Toronto's Polish community from St. Casimir's Church to the Katyn Monument in Parkdale High Park. This was a very important event for the Polish community that demonstrated that both the Katyn Massacre and Smolensk air disasters are two tragedies that will never be forgotten.
Thank you.